CJ Stroud was never supposed to become a superstar, but after becoming one of the greatest rookie quarterbacks of the past decade, there's still a lot you don't know about him, like his tough upbringing or even learning all his footwork and drills from watching YouTube videos on Drew Brees, and his secret skill.
LA girls or Houston girls?
It's not even close.
Here are 10 things you didn't know about CJ Stroud. The name CJ Stroud is one that is very well known amongst NFL fans all around the world.
My real name is Coleridge, so C-L-E-R-I-D-G-E, and then my middle name is Bernard. My last name is Stroud.
What is a bit more of a mystery is the meaning of the J in CJ. Born in Rancho Cucamonga in California, the star quarterback entered the world in 2001 and was named Coleridge Bernard Stroud IV, son of Coleridge Bernard Stroud III and his wife Kimberly. The name has passed through the family after initially being given to his great-grandfather. It derives from Samuel Taylor Coleridge, an English philosopher and poet in the 1800s. But the CJ aspect of his name is anyone's to guess. But the nickname of Cool Breeze, assigned by his family and friends, is much easier to understand. His calm personality and composure on the football field makes this a worthwhile nickname and one the Texans fans will be hoping sticks around over a long and successful career. What came before CJ Stroud's successful football career was an upbringing of brutal toughness. The budding young quarterback faced the toughest of life challenges after his father was sentenced to 38 years in prison when Stroud was in middle school.
I was hurt. I felt like he betrayed me. He really didn't care about me no more.
You really don't know the kind of person you are until you are tried and tested. When your best friend is basically not there anymore, and now you're out there and all your friends' dads are there, but yours is not anymore. That really tested CJ.
The incarceration left CJ feeling betrayed and lost, as he now was without a father figure and his best friend. As he struggled to deal with the emotions, CJ dropped out of sports in protest.
My dad loved sports, so I was like, I'm gonna go against that. I'm gonna do what he used to do and try to find my way in another way. Southern California, you have different avenues and different things pulling you left and right. I was just a kid at the time, really didn't know what I was getting myself into. I wasn't maybe always doing the right things, and I had a couple life and death situations that woke me up from what I was doing.
Thankfully though, CJ returned to the field after a year or so off, marking the start of a remarkable footballing career. Getting himself back into the world of football wouldn't be easy though. The arrest of his father left CJ's family in a very difficult financial situation, and they lived above a storage facility and were never far away from being left completely homeless.
We were almost homeless. No one would take us in. We didn't have anywhere to go. At one point, I was going to place my kids in different places because I didn't want them to be homeless, So
Poor nutrition and old equipment were a common theme for CJ, and he had to do the most of his learning on YouTube. The challenges that CJ Stroud faced during this tough upbringing have no doubt contributed to the stone-cold competitor the NFL fans watch today. From learning the position by watching Drew Brees on YouTube as a kid to being the clear frontrunner for Offensive Rookie of the Year in 2023, it's been an incredible journey so far. After a solid high school career, a young CJ Stroud looked at the Elite 11 as his route to success.
This was something CJ had watched on TV since he was little. The high school quarterbacks competition. There's the greats that have gone through that program, and most of them either went pro or competed at a high-level college. And it's hundreds of quarterbacks, and they narrow that down to 21. And then they narrow it down to 11, and they narrow it down to the MVP, the winner of the competition.
And Stroud knew that that was the best place for him to try and make a name for himself. Despite showing up and playing well at numerous regional camps, Stroud faced rejection after rejection.
I feel like I did really good, but they offered Bryce an invitation. Of course, now he's at Bama.
Each of those camps, they picked other quarterbacks and not CJ.
Not one to accept no for an answer, Stroud continued to show up at every camp he could, emailing anyone he could to try and earn another opportunity. And finally, his persistence paid off.
Mom, they invited me. Oh my God.
They invited me.
As Stroud was finally accepted on the very last day of Elite 11 invitations. Dallas played host to the Elite 11 experience, and he wasted no time showing what he could do. Stroud, who was a 3-star recruit, immediately clicked with 4- and 5-star recruits from all over the country. He won the 7-on-7 competition and earned the Elite 11 MVP award. After getting very few college offers prior to that moment, it was the Ohio State wide receivers at the same Elite 11 camp that lobbied their coaches to sign the promising quarterback.
Throwing you dots, everything on the money, leading the team. Like, this is just a 7-on-7. This is just a camp, and everything is just shining through. And it's like, wow, like, who is this guy? Like, I don't know, who is this dude?
And not long later, CJ Stroud was a Buckeye, and the rest is history. Ohio State is one of the most successful programs in college football history. Their 964 wins are the 3rd most all time, and they boast an impressive 8 national titles. During this incredible history, the Buckeyes have seen their fair share of talented quarterbacks, but there is no doubt that CJ Stroud ranks near the very top. His name pops up all over the various leaderboards for the most important quarterback records. His 8,123 passing yards are 2nd in school history, which is an insane stat given that he only played 2 seasons. JT Barrett sits at the top of the passing yardage leaderboard with 9,344, but these came across 4 seasons of on-field action. To come close to that in just 2 seasons shows what a talent CJ Stroud was for the Buckeyes. His 85 touchdowns are also 2nd on the all-time leaderboard, also behind JT Barrett, who had 104. His 4,435 passing yards in 2021 alone sits 2nd behind Dwayne Haskins for Ohio State's single season record. And his crazy 573-yard game against Utah stands as the university's all-time single game record. With all of those stats under his belt, it is no surprise that CJ Stroud also earned himself a few prestigious awards along the way. After sitting out of his true freshman season, he overtook the starting role as a redshirt freshman in 2021, a 11-2 record and a Rose Bowl victory. The bowl game was particularly significant as it proved the platform to break the school's single season game passing record with 573 yards against Utah. Stroud's 4,435 passing yards and 44 touchdowns as a redshirt freshman positioned him as the 2nd best quarterback in school history in both categories. A pretty incredible accomplishment given it was his first season as a starter. For his efforts, he was named the Big Ten Quarterback of the Year, earned first team All Big Ten honors, and became the first quarterback in Buckeyes history to throw 5 touchdowns against a Big Ten opponent 4 times in 1 season. He put together another incredibly strong season in 2022, passing for 3,688 yards and 41 touchdowns. During this season, he set a conference record for the most games with 6 passing touchdowns with 3. He was once again named the Big Ten's Quarterback of the Year, also earning first team All Big Ten honors for the 2nd year running. To cap it all off, he is also the first quarterback in Big Ten history to throw 30 or more touchdowns in back-to-back seasons. Given he threw 40 in both, it may take a while for those records to be broken. So far, CJ Stroud hasn't missed a beat since entering the NFL. He had a brutal opening assignment against the Baltimore Ravens, who turned out to be the best team in the AFC, but he followed it up with an incredible 384-yard, 2-touchdown performance against the Indianapolis Colts in Week 2. This kickstarted an impressive 7-game stretch that saw him throw for 2,028 yards and 14 touchdowns. These 7 games featured a couple of NFL records too. In Week 5, Stroud set a new record for the most passing attempts to start a career without throwing an interception. His 177 pass attempts broke Dak Prescott's record of 176, and Stroud extended it all the way to 191 before throwing his first interception in Week 6 against the New Orleans Saints. And the final game of this incredible stretch was the best of the lot, as Stroud passed for 470 yards and 5 touchdowns in a dramatic 39-37 win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, this game featured a last-minute game-winning drive to really solidify his status as a top quarterback after just 8 weeks in the NFL. In this game, he set a new record for passing yards in a single game by a rookie quarterback. I mean, his 470 yards in that game completely blasted past the previous record of 433 posted by Andrew Luck in 2012. There is no doubt that CJ Stroud is the clear favorite favorite to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. But the future surely holds much bigger accolades. With the regular season now in the books, Stroud's numbers make him just the third ever quarterback to lead the league in passing yards per game and touchdown to interception ratio. The other two players to do it are Tom Brady and Joe Montana. And I mean, that's pretty good company to be a part of, I think. But this next thing is one secret that not many people knew before the draft. If you are going to be talking about breaking records and winning awards as a quarterback, you need a good wide receiver to aim at. CJ Stroud benefits from having two, Nico Collins and Tank Dell. Dell also joined the Texans during last year's NFL draft. And the secret that nobody wants to know is that he has CJ Stroud to thank for that. The two draft prospects linked up after the NFL Combine, with Stroud letting Dell know that he loved the way he run his routes. After the quarterback was selected by the Texans with the second overall pick, Dell wasted no time to congratulate him and encourage him to get the Texans to, and I quote, come and get him. And CJ Stroud had absolutely one thing to say to him: I got you.
When we drafted CJ, I texted him like, you got to get me here with you, bro. We had the conversation at the Combine, and I was just telling him, like, he was just like, it'll be fun playing with you and things like that, and I said vice versa. So just for us both being here together, you know, that's amazing. But when I shot that DM, you know, I was hoping I got a response, so this is the response I got, so that's good.
Sure enough, the next day, the Texans made Dell their third-round selection. Unfortunately, though, Tank Dell's rookie season ended early with a broken leg in November. But that was not before he made sure everyone was aware of his talent. In his 10 games, Dell posted 709 yards and 7 touchdowns, which suggests a 1,000-yard season was on the way. From an early age, he showed great chemistry with Stroud, as the duo freelanced on long touchdowns and combined for 3 games over 100 yards. I mean, the future is honestly looking so bright in Houston because of those two. But one quality of a great quarterback is also being a good leader, and there is no doubt that Stroud fits into that category. NIL was introduced into college football in 2021, allowing student athletes to monetize their image and likeness. And Stroud made sure that his fortunate situation was used to benefit his entire team.
I just wanted to do something for the team, so I got everybody a $500 gift card to go to Express. Get y'all own suits, man. Make sure y'all really get some suits, man. Look fly, man. Make sure we all look at the team. So family on 3, 1, 2, 3, family.
Stroud's generosity is a big part of what makes him special, and it extends further than his team. His early life was difficult, not thanks to his father being locked up at an early age. So when his fortunes turned and CJ Stroud started earning a healthy wage from his footballing activities, he decided it was time to come good on a promise made to his mother whilst he was a kid. In 6th grade, CJ Stroud promised that later in his life, he would buy his mom a house. Well, last year, that became a reality as he bought her a brand new 4-bedroom house in California. I mean, it just shows you how much this guy cares about his family and his team. Gifts to his teammates and his mother are just a small part of CJ's generous nature. He has also made great efforts to help his local community. Losing his father to prison added an immense strain on CJ's family. He's often spoke about the admiration that he has for his mother, who worked tirelessly to put food on the table for him and his 3 siblings.
I remember like us having some troubles, you know, back when we were younger, and to see it kind of come full circle, I just think it gives them hope, because at that time, like, that's what we needed was hope, and we're letting people know, man, you can do anything with your mind.
As a result, he is quoted saying that he has a soft spot for single mothers and people who battle addiction. The CJ Stroud Foundation aims to support these people. A launch event in November saw the foundation give away turkeys and Thanksgiving fixings for 100 single mothers in the area. It also handed over gloves, scarves, and hats to keep families warm over the winter months. The overall goal of the foundation set up by CJ and his mother is to help single mothers, criminal justice reform, and help children of incarcerated parents. Whilst away from the field though, CJ's relaxation activities of choice are watching anime, playing video games, and listening to music. Music was a particularly significant part of his life, as he picked out a pregame hype song that would be in his ears before every single high school game. That song was Wins and Losses by Meek Mill, but he also expressed a true love for artists such as Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Tupac, and Nipsey Hussle. I mean, the guy even tries to rap on some of his own beats too. But it's been an absolute crazy year for CJ Stroud. Just 1 year after having the second overall pick, the Texans have earned an unlikely division victory and an even unlikelier win in the first round of the playoffs. The future is bright in Houston. Surely, it's just a case of when he gets his first ring.